I've been working with women in politics for more than a decade now, and I like the title that actually Camila put on my briefing. She said, Edlira will speak about how to empower the empowered. When I say that I work for women in politics, they tell me where. Well, there are lots of other women that need to be empowered, marginalized women, violated women. Why have you chosen women in politics? They are already empowered. And the problem is that we see the numbers, and with the numbers, especially with our organization, we have achieved historical numbers in Albanian politics at present. We have achieved historical reforms, 50% quota, the highest number of women in parliament and in the local councils that we ever had since we had a parliament. So now people see it and they say it's enough. And what we say is that this is the exact moment when they need to be empowered the most and when they need to be supported the most. Why? Because although we might not think of it, as today is the first day of the global campaign of violence against women, this is the moment where violence of women in politics is most visible, and it needs to be said, and it needs to be talked about. Why? Because the increased numbers now are a matter of also increased power. So when the power comes, also the violence comes. And unfortunately, the problem with women in politics is that they are facing at the moment a backlash in their political participation, and they still experience discrimination, harassment, or assault, even assault. What are some of the types of violence against women in politics? Because we might not think of them. And as the violence of any other women in any other sector, there are persistent harassment, discrimination, threats, and psychological abuse that we see a lot, especially in the media, physical and sexual assault, even for these empowered women, economic violence, such as threatenings from their families, but also threatenings for their campaigns and their work in politics, pressuring women to leave politics, including the moment when they are elected as officials. And unfortunately, here in Albania, but I know that also in other countries, we have had many cases of this kind. And also the violence, the silent violence of media that we used to call it, because usually women in politics are asked in the media, what are they wearing? What are they doing with their family? What are they doing in their personal life? They are never asked what laws are they passing, what are their problems in politics, and these other things. And if you see, we usually do media monitoring, and if we see in the campaign, just 12% of the time dedicated for a media campaign is dedicated to women candidates. All the other time is covered by men candidates. So anytime that they tell you that all this violence that you are passing, or that women in politics are passing, it is the cost of politics, we say that it is not the cost of politics, and we will keep speaking and speaking up until all this violence ends, because we need women in politics, we need men in politics, we need them to cooperate together for better societies. And if we don't have them both, if both of their voices are not heard, we cannot have a good politics for every one of us, and not even good policies, communities, and all the rest. On the other side, as I work in the civil society, also us in our sector, we seem empowered enough not to experience any kind of violence. Of course, I'm one of the strongest voices against gender-based violence in my country and also in the region. And it's interesting to share some personal experience some years ago, I was rebuilding schools and hospitals in the rural areas of Albania. I went with the driver of the organization to meet the mayor of that rural area in order to discuss the details on how to rebuild it was a little hospital there that we gave our contribution. But you know what happened? He didn't speak to me at all. He spoke to the driver and he said, tell to the director that we are going to do this and this. And I answered, yes, of course, we're going to do this and this. And he continued speaking to the driver. And he said, yes, tell to your director that the problems are this and this and this. He didn't look at me, he didn't speak to me. And at the end of the day, he said to his colleagues, we knew after that, I'm not sure they're coming back because she's a lady. I'm not sure she's strong enough to do this kind of work and to rebuild an hospital for us. I'm sure that another organization with a man leader will come and they will do it better. What did I do? Of course, I came back the other day and I came back for 3 other months and we rebuilt the hospital. We were persistent in what we wanted to do. And at the end of the 3 months, the mayor invited me for a coffee. And he said, I'm sorry if I didn't trust you. If I didn't speak even to you, but now we are friends and you can ask me whatever you want for the future and I'm open for cooperation. And I said, I'm not going to ask anything about myself, but if you want the work done, you need to have some more women in your staff because 50-50 of good ideas and of good contribution is very important also for your area. So what we have learned in our work and in many experiences like this that sound like anecdotes, but they're real lived experiences, is that we need to persist in asking our rights. Some will think that it is something that we just want. Some other will think that we're asking too much. Some others will think that we are asking things that are not possible. Everything that is rights for women and girls is a human right. So we need to persist asking them until we achieved everything that we are free to want and to be in our lives without being violated and without being discriminated. And this is my call: persist, 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 because the change might seem in many areas of the world might seem difficult, might seem even impossible. But as we did it in Albania, as we did it in Albanian politics, in Albanian rural areas, in every part of society, we can do it everywhere. And we need to support each other with best practices and best experiences and with good networking to strengthen each other, to empower each other. And never forget that when we are more, our voice is heard more. So let's speak up for our rights and let's persist on them. Thank you. They ask me in the parliament a lot whenever I go for electoral reforms to ask for more women in politics. They tell me, are you never happy? Like we achieved the 50% quota in local elections, 1/3 in parliamentary elections. What do you want more? And I think that we're not there yet, as long as we have so great, inspiring experiences like this that we heard, but that shouldn't really happen because of our gender. We should be all free to choose our path and feel not discriminated in the workplace, in our lives, in our families, should not be part of gender roles and gender stereotypes that impede us from being ourselves in order to walk in our daily lives path. And it's so great to hear that, it's interesting to say this, but it's so great to hear that we have kind of the same problems in every sector and in every country, because sometimes it seems like it happens only to us. We feel discriminated and we feel weak, we feel without energy, and we think it's because of the things that we do, and it's because the things that we don't really do well. And hearing that everybody has the same problems, and in different fields, they might seem different, but in the basis they're all the same. This inspires me to ask for more. And as I said, I will never stop persisting until we achieve the total freedom and the total real equality, not only in numbers, but in the real life, that we might be who we want to be, and we might live our lives like we want, without any gender equality borders. I think that involving men is very important, because if we want a better society, we need to work together. The fight of gender equality is not a fight of only for women, it's also for men, and it's also with men. And we have a saying in Albania, we are considered as the country of eagles. And we always say one thing, that an eagle cannot fly only with one wing. It needs two wings to fly, so we need to be together. And there are so many men that support gender equality, that support women. We have Livio here that is so great, that has been part of the organization. I have a great husband at home that supports my activity, a great son, a great brother, a great father, and so many good friends and cooperators that support gender equality and women in general. So we are not alone, and we should do this together. On the other side, what I want to say to all of you is that sometimes we might feel that we do not have the support, even from the other question, even from other women that believe that in patriarchy, that do not believe in gender equality, and that, you know, even psychologically violate us. And they have their right to have their own opinions. What we need to do is to be, as much as we can, the voice of those women and girls that do not have a voice. And there are so many around us. We just need to listen to them, and we need to talk for them if they cannot talk, and we need to be together. Like, supporting each other, we can achieve very big things. And this is not a quote. This is a thing that we have experienced in our work and in our daily life, day by day. The more we are, the more we support each other, the more we achieve. Like in this forum, that we are listening to each other, and this is a very good first step. Let's support each other in the future, and let us, you know, believe that every dream can come true, also the dream of gender equality.